It's Don here from the board. Thanks for coming along and checking out this video. So today I'm going to be reviewing one of the newer brands of keyboards out there that you can get, which is the FEKER 60% keyboard. Now this is a brand that I've never really heard of, but I've started seeing this pop up in a couple of different places and reviews and whatnot. And so when Banggood actually reached out to me and said, would I be interested in reviewing one? I said, of course, let's check it out. It's pretty much straight up in the Pro space, right? It's that 60% portable, wireless, Bluetooth, battery operated type of keyboard space. And so thankfully, with everything going on and COVID, they actually were able to send me one without too much of an issue. Now, this is actually, I guess, it's not really an endorsement. It's not really sponsored, but they did provide me with the review unit that you're going to see today. Everything that I say is, however, 100% my own opinions and is not swayed by the fact that Banggood provided this to me. I do want to lead in, though, that the reason why you will see that it says it has sponsored content is because they've asked me to help promote their July sale. So there is going to be a July sale, I believe, from the 21st to the 24th. There's going to be links below. You know the deal. Go check it out. Save your pennies and see what bargains you can grab, including maybe this keyboard if you like it. Rightio. Let's have a look at the product first, as I like to do. Okay, so here it is. It is the FEKER 60% NKRO Bluetooth 5 with Type-C, has Gator-on switches with PBT, double shot keycaps, RGB, it's mechanical, built for gaming, and it comes in a couple of switch options. I actually don't remember what switches I said I'd prefer, but I think maybe blue. I'm a clicker user, so that's just how it is. You'll see that it's sitting around the 75 US mark, okay? Right now, at least when I'm doing this video. And shipping, well, yeah, depends obviously where you are. And shipping times, I'm going to take that with a pinch of salt simply because of what's happening around the world with COVID. So, as you can see, there's already some reviewers out there that have already done some reviews. You can get Otemu and Cherry switch versions. There is actual software to drive it. Now, I'm not going to get into that part, only because I like to look at stuff from a stock point of view. I haven't actually downloaded it and played with it because I want to look at its build, its quality, its function, its sound. The RGB stuff is less of a interest to me, and therefore, I don't put that much stock into it. 1.8 meter cable, 1900 milliamp. It's quite light compared to potentially some other devices. Has full backlit, and then there's a bit of Q&A here which we might have a look at if we need to figure it out. So that's the rest of the actual promotional material, as it were. But let's just roll to there for the backlit. What that does tell me is they probably don't have a lot of good documentation in the box if they've actually had to put it on the product page to understand how that works. Okay, right, let's go back. So here it is in its typical grey plastic that gets shipped in. It's got my address on the other side, but the bag is unopened, uncompromised. So let's destroy this. Sounds like my daughter in the background is having a bit of a tantrum or something about something. Okay, so it's a white box. First impressions is it going to look like an Pro box? Yes, it is. Why am I not surprised? All right, so just for comparison, I have an Pro here, and it's pretty similar looking, right? I guess flattery, copying something is the best form of flattery, however that phrase goes. Yes, dear, what is it? Yeah. I've got too many things here. I'm knocking stuff over left, right, and center. I do apologize about that. Okay, outside the box, it's a black unit. There's an SKU there. There's not much info on the sides. Mechanist 01. Dual mode. DOUL, dual mode. There's some weights, 600 grams. Has a dust cover. Well, that'll be interesting. Is it still sealed? Yeah, it's still sealed. Just a little bit crumpled. Okay. Well, you can tell that when I do my videos, they're straight off the bat without much preparation at all. Because had I prepared, I would have downloaded that software. Alrighty-o. Here we go. Oh, they weren't kidding. It has a dust cover. Wow, that's cool. That's the first time I've seen one. So here's a quick start. It's a big sheet that's been folded over. Okay, so it's got some function key details and stuff like that, and also connecting to USB, connecting through Bluetooth. So that's cool. We've got a little box here which should be our cables and bits if there's any extras. What have they? Oh, okay. I was trying to pull the ends, but they've actually got it taped here instead. Well, that was okay. So they've done it like that. Hey, nice. Okay, so there's the USB-C cable. It's white, pretty standard. But the reason why I said nice is because they've given you a. I'm just going to tear that. These little bags don't really need to be preserved. They've actually given you a keycap puller, but it's half decent. It's not one of those plastic ring things. It's actually a wire puller, as you can see here. It's quite tight, but you know, there's a wire puller, and it's got a finger ring through it, so you can get in and actually apply a bit of force. Nice. I like that. That's good. I think they're starting to realize that those plastic ring type pullers are just terrible and nobody ever uses them. They just go out into the recycling straight off the bat. Okay, here's the keyboard. Not very much foam on the top protection there. It's quite a big wedge. And look at that. That is so different. It has this molded, it's like a vac molded plastic. It's just really cheap plastic. But the fact that it comes with one, I've not seen that yet. So I think that's really cool. Ooh, that sounds really pingy. It's got a lot of weight to it. I don't have my kitchen scales, so another example of me not being very prepared. Okay, here it is. Here it is. It's very unassuming in its native form. There's the USB-C, and straight away I can see there's a problem because the actual socket doesn't line up with the hole. It doesn't line up. Oh, my dear wife has brought me the kitchen scales so we can weigh it. There we go. So they said 610 grams, and it's 582 without the cable. 612 grams. Man, they are good. They are good at this. The fact that they said 610 and they're off by 2 grams. Wow. That's unbelievable. I was not expecting that. All right. Ooh, do you want to take this back to Mummy? Okay, don't drop it. All right, so back to this problem here. The USB-C port is just slightly offset. Now, it's offset too high. I don't know if it's going to be a problem, but it might be fixable. So let's just see Well, look, it still plugs in. It still plugs in. I think you're just going to need to be a little bit gentle when you plug in, that it doesn't damage the inside bit. Yeah, because I just pulled it and I heard it click back up into place. So it does flex. Like you can see how it just recesses back up in there. Yeah, it's got a bit of flex on that. So that's not cool. That's not cool. These keycaps have front print for the layers and stuff. So that's pretty typical. Function 1, function 2, the F row across there, the arrows on a layer there. The back has no flick out feet of any kind. And there's your on off button switch over here for your Bluetooth to USB mode. So right now it's in USB mode. It's got a good amount of weight to it with a battery in it. And if I try the flex test, I'm actually really happy with that. That's very stiff. It's quite rigid, but I mean that is a hefty amount of case right there. So I'm actually really impressed. That's got some serious stiffness to it. Okay. It fits. Hey, that's cool. Spill protection, dust protection. Okay. Probably good actually to chuck it on when you put it in your bag as well. And that way it stops, you know, anything from getting inside there. What else do I want to do before we plug it in? How about we just pull some keycaps and let's see. Okay, so we've got gator on blues. Yep, there's a couple of screws that you can see, which I suspect is going to be what is mounting it through to the bottom of the case. So you can see that there's the screw in between that plate. So that's cool. That's cool. Okay. Keycap thickness while we're here. Keycap thickness. Here's a ruler. And they're 1mm keycaps. Nothing really to write home about. They're not thick 1.5mm keycaps. They are the classic gamer style shine through. So you've got that white plastic shot, and then you've got the external black plastic secondary shot around it, and that's how they achieve their shine through. Of course, you got some hard bounce out, but bottom out sound there, not bounce out. But the plate is metal, so you can tell by the actual glossiness of it and what they've done with painting it. Let's have a look at their stabilizers. What have they used? So they're plate mounted stabilizers there, plate mounted. All right. Okay. They're not too bad. Not too bad. Alrighty. So, besides the USB being slightly off, let's now plug it in and actually give it a... Ooh, see, this is exactly the problem I'm talking about, right? I just tried to plug it in blindly, and that wasn't very nice. But after I looked at it and lined it up, it was fine. Okay. All right. All RGBs are a go. It is working. I don't know if you can hear that. I'm just laughing because my daughter is in the stage of loudly telling everybody what her bathroom activities are. So I do apologize if you can hear that in the background. All right, so I've got switch tester on and we have function. So it seems to be working just fine as expected. So if we go function 1, yep, we've got our F row keys, and then we've got our up, down, left, right. Okay. Function escape, yep, is tilde. we've got those ones there. Punctuation are all working. Fantastic. Right, so primary functions work just as intended. Now in terms of the brightness factor, so it's daylight but the room is dark, so I'm just going to turn off the light so you can see it's pretty bright. It's just doing a natural little cycle through. It's actually not super intense like some other keyboards can be. If you saw me reviewing the Table E401 and how I racked up that light intensity all the way up and it was like Gondor calls for aid kind of thing, this is actually quite comfortable to look at right now. But let's see if we can make it bright. Okay. So function 1 plus the bracket of this one. Backlight color changes in order with program. Backlight frequency. I think when they say frequency, do they mean brightness? Or are they talking about the speed? Oh no, so there is actual brightness, which is the typical sun ones, which are up here. Is that right? Reduce and increase. Yes. Okay. So is that function 2 is what I want. Okay. I don't know what just happened there. Okay, so that's the lowest, and there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Okay, so there's only 4 intensities, and this is the brightest, and you know what? It's actually quite comfortable. I'm pretty happy with that. That's not so bright that your eyes actually hurt. So I like that. That's nice. And then you can function 1. There we go. So we've got white, purple, blue, cyan, teal, aqua, whatever you want to call it, green, yellow, orange, red, and then back to all multicolors. So the frequency must be that pulsing that I was talking about. Is that getting faster? Nope. Seems like I've hit a maximum or a minimum. That's a decrease, right? Okay, so I've hit the maximum there, 4 levels, and that's the fastest it's going to cycle. Okay, so we've got some color modes, which I believe is this. Oh, function 2 needs that. Up, down, off. Oh, it's that pulse type. Rippling out, snake, waveform, different type of waveform, random assortment of goodness knows what. Is that just solid color? I think that's just solid color. Off. We're back with underglow. And then I think that's, oh no, that's central pulsing out. That's up, down. And then that's back to the start. So it says there's 19 modes. I wasn't counting, but there's a lot of color modes there. Okay. Now supposedly you can do extra stuff with the software, but you know, from a surface value, if you're not going to go into that depth, that all seems to work really well. Now, let's unplug it. Let's test out the Bluetooth. So I've tested the Bluetooth with a couple of other keyboards now to my phone and also to my PC, and some of them were a little bit slower in pairing, and others were, you know, a little bit better and responsive, not as laggy. Hopefully this actually has enough battery power. So my phone is already on with Bluetooth on. So I'm going to go and switch it over to the on setting, and we've got power because I've got some light. So F2, function 2 and Bluetooth for 5 seconds, and it'll flash slowly until it connects successfully. So it can connect up to 4 devices in its pairing. Let's see how well it does. Okay, so you can see AND Pro, there's my computer. The Keychron K2 I'd also paired it to, and then there's my headphones. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know if it's trying to scan. Let's try it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Something meant to be flashing. Oh no, yeah, I can see it. It's pulsing there now. And hey, will my phone pick it up? I don't know if my phone's having a good time. My phone is not picking it up. Okay, let me try turning my computer Bluetooth on and see if it'll pick it up. Bluetooth on. Add Bluetooth or other device. It is a Bluetooth. It's still pulsing. Now it's stopped pulsing. So it's failed to actually pair up with my phone, and it pairs up with my PC. So it comes up with Mechanist 01 input, and I'll show you that over here. So you can see it's actually successfully found it, and it's connecting to it. We're ready to go. Done. Okay, so let's go back to switch header. So here's switch header that I had on before. Let us clear it, and there we go. So pairs to the PC perfectly fine. Does not seem to want to pair to my phone. Now I don't have a laptop or an iPad or tablet or something like that that I can actually pair it to. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try again, but with a different mode. Well, different channel, sorry. So let's go back to the desktop. Let's turn on my Bluetooth and let's go to channel 2. 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 2 is cycling. And I'm trying to find it with the 2. What is it? Are you trying to come up? Well, let's just lay that there. And Daddy's reviewing this keyboard, okay? Alright. Don't press or anything. Just look, okay? So, at the moment, it really does not want to match up at all. Number 2 is going, and it's not finding any connection to my phone. Oh, well, what was that? There we go. Available devices. Alright. So before it didn't do that at all. It didn't sort of flash up. So let's try that now. Connecting. Connected. Okay, so the Machinist. So it does work. I think it's probably either my phone or it just needed to be a little bit more willing to go. So let's go back. What have I got at the top? It says select external keyboard type. Default. Okay. Well, it's English, but it's a US style keyboard. It's definitely not Dvorak or anything of that nature. Okay. I don't think I need to do that. Alright. Let me get to like a notepad or something like that. Do I have a notepad? What have I got going on here? Memo. Plus a new memo. Okay, so you can see it's definitely doing its job. Cool. All right. So we've now successfully paired it to my phone. Discard. Well, after all of that, I will have to take it back and say that it will work on my PC and on my phone, which is good, Okay. I don't have any major complaints. What can I say? It looks alright. It feels okay. Keycaps are a bit, light and thin for what they are. You could probably change them out if you really wanted to. 600 grams is a decent weight. 1900 milliamps. If you're going to be taking this out and using it for a day, coming home, plugging it in, charging it, I think it would be perfectly fine. If you're not going to run RGB while you're using it unplugged, it's probably also going to be, it'll last you even longer, right? If, of course, you want it to be pretty and whatnot, maybe you want to take a power bank with you and then you can plug it in and charge it and run it off that as well. And that way it'll save you the pain of not being able to use it when you need to use it. So the most important thing, I guess, that some people are waiting for is the typing test, right? What does it sound like? So I'm going to turn that off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to let my daughter, do you want to play on it? Do you want to type on it? Yeah? Okay. Just wait, right? I'm going to move the microphone down, right? And then you can play on it however you like for a few seconds. Okay, go on. Well, you just need to actually type on it a bit more. Yeah. Can Daddy type on it? So if you type at about 10 words a minute, this is what it might sound like. Can Daddy do a little bit? Yeah? Okay. So let's just go a little bit faster. Okay, so that's what it kind of sounds like from up close. And I guess it's one of those gripes that I have with how people sound test keyboards is they always put their microphone really close, right? Which is kind of like what you're hearing and experiencing now, but it might not reflect how you actually hear it when you're typing and using it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lift that microphone up and away, and then I'm going to move it around so it's closer to the distance that you might have it at when you're actually typing normally. Okay, are we ready? Just be careful. Daddy's got a microphone. Don't want you to bump your head on it. Okay, so the microphone now is more in line with where your head position would be when you're actually typing it, right? Okay, go on, you can. Okay, can Daddy go now? Okay, so hopefully that gives you a bit more of an idea of what that actually sounds like. And I guess, you know, it's been half an hour now, so let's wrap this up. Construction-wise, it's actually really solid. You know, I'm pressing quite firmly on it, and while it has a little bit of flex, you know, it is on a desk mat. It doesn't have a lot of give in the desk mat, but it's also a plastic case. The steel plate or the metal plate, I don't know if it's actually steel, the plate itself feels quite strong, and when I try the flex test. When I try and actually twist it, it's very, very stiff. It's very resilient to it. Now, I'm not going to take it apart and check it out on its internals, but I feel like it's quite rugged. I feel like it's quite rugged. Styling-wise, it's very simple. Oh, we're just going to turn that off. Styling-wise, it's very simple. It's very clean, and it's a standard layout. So if you don't like the keycaps on it, you can put a new set of keycaps on this, no problems whatsoever. I think the only thing that people might find an issue with is going to be the battery life at 1900 milliamps. Of course, if you wanted to get inside it and actually mod it and see how much space is inside it to be able to go up to a larger battery, then sure, you might want to do that aftermarket. But as far as it goes, straight out of the box, I'm actually pretty happy with it. And the fact that it gives you this molded dust cover, let me put that on, yeah? How do you like that? Do you like it? Well, she likes it. I like it. The only thing is, I would actually prefer that it would be a bit bigger so that it might sink down and cover the USB port. I do have to deduct points because that doesn't line up very well on the USB port in a way that it kind of compensates for the fact that they've actually given you this dust cover as well, which I think is actually really nifty. Sure, it might only be a couple of cents to have this dust cover, but the thought of that being there in the first place is actually really great. It's really great. Of course, if you're going to use aftermarket keycaps on it, then it might not fit underneath that dust cover. So some payoffs to weigh up there. Don't press it like that. It's not meant to be pressed with that on. Overall, I'm going to say this is a good solid 7.5 out of 10. It does pair. It's just a bit slow to pair up. You might have to try it a couple of times before your devices recognize it and trust it. And if you like the RGB lighting, well, it works 19 modes to tickle your fancy. So there you have it. There you have it. Thanks very much for checking out this review. Please, if you are interested, check out the link to this product in the description in the video below. And of course, if you're after any bargains and deals, head over and check out the Banggood July sale promotion. I think it's the 21st to the 24th, and there should be some links in the description below as well. Thanks very much. Hit that like button, hit that share button, and of course, hit that subscribe button to make sure you don't miss any other new videos coming out on this channel. So, it's time to go. You gonna say bye-bye? You gotta be louder than that so they can hear you.
Bye.
You gonna wave bye-bye? Alright. Well, as usual, until next time, happy clacking.